Considering the ferocity with which the states are pushing up their presidential primaries, if you ran for the nomination and did not make it to even the first of them, it did not go well. Our third story, the countdown to 2008, and another Republican calling it quits. Kansas Senator Sam Brownback expected to end his part of the race tomorrow. Low in the polls, even lower on cash. Brownback ran a mostly anti-abortion campaign, a favorite of fundamentalists. He was not, however, a fire-breathing conservative on immigration. He favored a path to citizenship for illegal immigrants, an unpopular stance in the GOP, to say the least. Though Brownback does not have a lot of support to throw around, his exit from the race could reshuffle the deck. In part, one possible effect, a boost for Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee, the Southern Baptist preacher who has been climbing in the latest polls in Iowa. Huckabee showing surprising strength in the latest Rasmussen poll of Republicans there, pulling past Rudy Giuliani, even with Fred Thompson for second place. Mitt Romney still at the top there. Congressional Quarterly's Craig Crawford joins us now for the latest in both the Republican and Democratic campaigns. Craig, good evening.
It's just another extension of Oddball, isn't it?
Well, the whole show is.
All right.
Huckabee's Iowa numbers mean what? One basket, all eggs, or is there more to it?
Well, if you're going to pick one basket and put your eggs in, it would be Iowa. They're first in just about 2.5 months for Republicans, so he's in the right place to do that. In the old days, Keith, before these campaigns became multinational corporations with more cash on hand than some countries, I would say somebody like Huckabee would have a better than even shot. But even if he does well in Iowa, then he's got to have all this money and infrastructure all over the country because the calendar is so compressed with big states voting all around the country so quickly. It's going to be hard for him to leverage that. I do think he is a very popular running mate possibility for the Republicans, particularly if a social moderate like Giuliani becomes the presidential nominee.
Is that, in fact, just going sort of a field here? Is that what the religious right, the James Dobsons and such, are actually angling for, or is there still Huckabee as a third-party candidate out there?
I think they are so used to not having to settle for second spot, they're not willing to accept that at the moment, but I see that down the road if someone like Giuliani sticks with it. But here's the thing about that poll, Rasmussen poll you talked about in Iowa, is if you combine the candidates who are competing for the social conservative vote, Romney and Huckabee, you actually get to about 60% of the vote. If that conservative vote ever does coalesce around one particular candidate, Fred Thompson's another, then Giuliani's in big trouble.
But Thompson moved up after the one debate to second in the Iowa poll and then dropped back in the national polls. Did he just go poof? Is that it for him?
Well, there is this weird disconnect, Keith, with Thompson. He gets better coverage than he does nationally, and it doesn't surprise me that in a state where he has spent a fair amount of time and gotten some fairly good local press coverage, that he's doing a lot better. He is now arguing he's the real conservative of the race. There's a debate in Orlando this Sunday with the Republican candidates where I think he's going to come out swinging. He is making a hard pitch now to coalesce that conservative vote. And like I say, if anyone does that, Giuliani's in big trouble in the Republican race.
The Democrats, John Edwards famously said a little while ago, did I miss something? Why is everybody treating Hillary Clinton as if she's gotten the nomination? She leads in cash. The CNN poll has her ahead of Obama by 30. Is there anything foreseeable to trip her up?
Well, maybe her own 2 feet. If there's a trap door like on the catwalk for the model you showed in Oddball. But I don't see anyone taking her down unless she really makes a mistake. And that's one thing I've seen in Hillary Rodham Clinton, not just in this race, but when she first ran for Senate and her re-election to the Senate. This woman really doesn't make mistakes on the campaign trail. She's very careful, doesn't take a lot of risks. But as a result, I don't think these other candidates can count on her to trip on her own 2 feet.
And to that point, is it people I talk to say that who actually see that campaign day to day say she's getting better at this as it goes along, and it's maybe counterintuitive, but does it make sense because she's actually only been a candidate, her own candidate, for 8 years? She's a relative rookie at this?
Rookie in that sense, but such a pro in the sense that she's been so close to the fire for so long as a result of her husband. So I think Hillary Rodham Clinton is more of a veteran than maybe the paperwork shows. And on the campaign trail, you know, it does you do get a little more comfortable and have a lot more fun when you're 30 points ahead. So I think that's making a big difference for her.
Our own Craig Crawford, also, of course, of Congressional Quarterly. As always, Craig, a great pleasure to speak with you, sir.